Tahira Naqvi grew up in Lahore, Pakistan. She's a translator, writer, and clinical professor in the Department of Middle Eastern and Islamic Studies at New York University, where she teaches Urdu language and literature. She has translated into English works of Saadat Hasan Manto, Khatija Mastoor, Hajra Masroor, Fahmida Riaz, and the majority of works by Ismat Chughtai. Her latest being, in her own words, Letters and Interviews of Ismat Chughtai, published last year by Women Unlimited, New Delhi. She also writes fiction and has 2 collections of short stories titled consecutively Attar of Roses and Other Stories of Pakistan and Dying in a Strange Country. Her first novel, The History Teacher of Lahore, to be launched, or it is actually launched at the LLF, was published in 2023 by Speaking Tiger Books, Delhi, and reprinted this year by City Press, Karachi. So, Professor Tahira Naqvi, we welcome you. Could you also say a few words about Dr. Zuvia, who's our co-participant in this conversation?
So we have with us on the stage here actually a kind of virtual example of what friendship between women is. We are all 3 friends as well as associates in literature. Dr. Zuvia Hamiduddin over there is a physician by profession, but she's also the granddaughter of Azim Beg Chughtai, who was the older brother of the very well-known feminist writer Ismat Chughtai. And she has translated her grandfather's novella called Vampire. So why she is here with us on stage will slowly unravel, and we'll learn about all of that as we go along.
Thank you. So, can you hear me? All right. This is Shabnam. Once again, I'm telling you my name. And I welcome you to this session of The Wild Ones, exploring women's friendships in literature by sharing with you this very beautiful, heartwarming, and also heart-rending excerpt. And I think I found the most wonderful way of sharing with you the experience of women's friendships. It's an excerpt from Professor Tahira Naqvi's short story, Song of My Mother. And this is how it goes. Today she is in my kitchen, my mother. She cradles an emerald green Karela in the palm of her hand, her fingers closing over the gourd gently. You haven't been patient, Zainab. It isn't me, Ammi. I protest. It's the Karela. You have to prepare the Karela properly if you want the bitterness to go away. I cannot tell her that often, beleaguered by my memory's sharp resonance, I have tried to cook Karela her way. The words, reeking of failure, sit on my tongue like the bitter aftertaste of Karelas that I've been done in a hurry, long and hard. I had labored until my hands ached and my fingers became numb. The process of scrapping the Karelas is not new to me. I grew up watching my aunts to do it too. Every step of the ritual is deeply etched in my memory. I remember the cool, wet sensation of the juice as it flew into my face, the sharp, acrid aroma of the skins combining with the smoke of my grandmother's hookah. The brisk chatter of conversation interjected with laughter and hand-slapping gestures that passed between my aunts, Amma, and my grandmother. The picture of the naked, cone-shaped Karelas after they had been fully cleaned, each smooth and clear, and myself, a girl child who had no taste for such a bitter vegetable. And so it goes on. The Song of My Mother, it's a beautiful short story. And Professor Naqvi, I was just thinking about that wow, which claims to celebrate women and girls. So I'd been thinking that we've been using this word, celebrating, and it remains so abstract. And it keeps, I think it has different meanings for different people, but somehow it has stuck to us as a generic term. You know, celebrating women and celebrating little girls. So I was just thinking that what could be more meaningful in 21st century to celebrate them by exploring women's friendships, our friendships, through the lens of South Asian literature, feminist literature, and written in such a way that those meanings of feminism and women's empowerment that have for the longest time remained unrecognized. You know, kind of trapped, and for good reasons, in a patriarchal narrative, essentially, the one we, the women, took for granted, in fact, ignored, our most reliable, true embankment. And I very strongly feel that the God or the source of our empowerment, that is our very own innate womanliness, the ordinary woman in us, the ordinary women that we are. And the vow has introduced a beautiful word, and that the Sakhiyan we are, the friends that we are. So, you know, I can go on, but there's a list of questions that I prepared for you, and I thought that I'll ask you would you like to share with us the stories of friendship that are in English literature or in Urdu literature or both? So how do you prefer to go about it?
I thought that we would begin by talking about women in literature, and then we would move on to the personal space which women like us inhabit, because women in literature and women in life, in real life like this, are really counterparts of each other, and so they cannot really be separated. So I have always been fascinated by the work of a wonderful Bengali writer whose name is Ruqayya Sakhawat Hussain. And she wrote these wonderful stories. One was a short story called Sultana's Dream, and the other one was called Padma Rag, which was a novella. And in Sultana's Dream, as very much as in Tafweez by Azim Beg Chughtai, the women, there is this woman who's the narrator finds herself in a dream. And in that dream, she finds herself in a utopian world where women are ruling and women are in charge. And so she spends time with them, and she's surprised by how efficient they are, how peaceful, how peace-loving, and how men appear to be very weak in those surroundings. There are men in that utopia as well, but they sort of have changed places with women in society. So there is that, and then there is Padma Rag, which is a story about women who come together in a shelter. And in that shelter are women who have been physically abused, they've been battered, they're battered wives. They're women who have suffered in some way or another at the hands of society or at the hands of their husbands or their families. And they're of different religions. They're not all Muslim, they're Christian, they're Hindu. and Muslim, and they're all together in this shelter. So the shelter becomes a microcosm of a space where women find friendship with each other. And so it's a beautiful narrative, and it comes to a very positive end where all these women find in the companionship that they have with each other a kind of productive purpose. And they're able to become useful members of that particular society that they create in that space. And so, looking at these two narratives, I thought that the idea of the Char Diwari, which has been the traditional and conventional and stereotypical way of looking at how women are hedged in and how they are imprisoned in this Char Diwari, perhaps we should look also, and I'm moving away from the traditional ideas of the Char Diwari, we should perhaps move away from it and subvert the idea of the Char Diwari so that the space on this side of the Char Diwari becomes a specific and special space for women to exercise their individuality, their freedoms, and their interests and their relationships with each other and with the world. So basically the Char Diwari is a kind of a structure which shuts the world out. Rather than hems them in, it shuts the world out and gives them the opportunity to do as they please. And within that Char Diwari, I move on very quickly now to our own personal experiences growing up. So I don't know how many people here have had that experience, but as I was growing up, I experienced this particular Char Diwari, so to speak, within whose confines there were aunts and grandmothers and cousins, younger cousins, older cousins, as you may remember also. But what did we do? These were women who were, quote unquote, gainfully employed. Mm-hmm. They were stitching, sewing, embroidering, cooking. They were also talking to each other constantly. There was catharsis, there was emotional drama, there were problems that were discussed. And the kind of work that they did was unbelievable. I will give one example that I remember as a 14-year-old perhaps. I suddenly saw that there were these large swaths of fabric that had been brought in, had been bought, and they had been brought in. And then all of my aunts and older cousins, they started to take out the stitches. They were all stitched together, and it was impossible to understand what they were. And so the stitches were taken out, जिसको हम कहते हैं कि वो उन्होंने खोल दिए सारे टांके. And then, while I'm watching, I slowly realized that those pieces of fabric, beautiful, slightly off-white, are actually silk. And they are the parachutes. They are the parachutes, post-war parachutes, that have been now released into the markets. And that was Boski. And it was all silk. And what were my aunts and cousins doing with them? They were making shalwars, trousers. And so this activity and quilting and embroidering and sewing shirts and trousers, all of that is finished. Mm-hmm. It's done. And with that, we have lost this great resource where women were able to get together and they were able to do all of this, to produce. And these were not women, by the way, who were uneducated. They all were receiving college education. Many of them were in Lahore College. They all became teachers, all my aunts and cousins. And so one of them was this great mathematician. But they were without any shame attached to it or without any reservation attached to it, were engaged in this activity which was brought about by this a kind of a community of women. And that friendship and that community is lost. And so if we go back now, this is what we are doing, to look at that, to try to retrieve the images of that friendship between women in novels, in short stories, because we don't have them in real life anymore. And I think one of the purposes of this particular festival, this panel, is to remind younger women and men that such a thing is possible and that it is not imprisonment. You haven't been brought into this boundary or into the Chardivari. You're using the Chardivari as a way to shut the world out and to find yourself without interference. And so looking at that, I move on to my own work. Because I too come from that tradition. So in my short stories, I always extract ideas and meanings subconsciously from old Urdu texts. And one of my favorite stories is this beautiful, absolutely fantastic short story by Isma Chughtai, whom I mentioned earlier. And I will read to you, I'm sure all of you understand Urdu here. So I'm going to read a short excerpt from that story. And then I think we should talk about a little bit about Zuvia's work as well. And you can share your experiences also, so that we don't make it a one-sided conversation. And I think somebody should also tell us about our time constraints, okay?
I think Amne will. I mean, while you're looking for the excerpt, I was just reminded of when you were speaking about that how from the Second World War, parachutes, the remains of it, the women at home were creating new objects or new pieces. So it's what we call upcycling these days, that you recycle and you upcycle the materials and you make something else. So it resonates with WOW's commitment to being green. You know, how these women, they were in that world which was green world.
So I'm reading this excerpt from a short story titled Chauthi Ka Joda. Perhaps some of you are familiar with it.
Just love it.
So, Saydari ke चौके पर आज फिर साफ सुथरी जाज़म बिछी थी। टूटी हुई खपरेल की झुर्रियों में से धूप के आड़े तिरछे कतले पूरे दालान में बिखरे हुए थे। महल्ले टोले की औरतें खामोश और सहमी हुई सी बैठी हुई थीं, जैसे कोई बड़ी वारदात होने वाली हो। माँओं ने बच्चे छातियों से लगा लिए थे। कभी कभी कोई नन्हा सा चिड़चिड़ा बच्चा रसद की कमी की दुहाई देकर झिल्ला उठता, नाई नाई मेरे लाल। दुबली पतली माँ उसे घुटने पर लिटाकर यूं हिलाती जैसे धान मिले चावल सोप में फटक रही हो। बच्चे हुंकारे पर खामोश हो जाते। आज कितनी आस भरी निगाहें कुबरा की माँ के मुतफक्कर चेहरे को तक रही थीं। छोटे अरज़ की तूल के 2 पार्ट तो जोड़ लिए गए थे, मगर अभी सफ़ेद गज़ी का निशान बेउतने की किसी को हिम्मत न पड़ती थी। काट छांट के मामले में कुबरा की माँ का रुतबा बहुत ऊंचा था। उनके सूखे सूखे हाथों ने न जाने कितने जहेज मारे थे. Sorry. कितने छटी छूचक तैयार किए थे और कितने ही कफन भी बनते थे. जहाँ कहीं मोहल्ले में कपड़ा कम पड़ जाता और लाख जतन पर भी बेवत ना बैठती, कुबरा की माँ के पास केस लाया जाता. कुबरा की माँ कान निकालती, कलफ तोड़ती, कभी तिकोन बनाती, कभी चौकट्टा करती और दिल ही दिल में कैंची चलाकर आँखों से नाप तोल मुस्कुरा पड़ती. This is just an example of a community of women who are getting together at Kubra's mother's house in order to stitch something or have something. So they have problems. There's a problem in stitching, and they bring the problem to Kubra's mother, and they're all sitting there. So this environment of women coming together is what we are talking about, is what we want to retrieve. And we want to talk about the value of such an experience, because it's been completely gone. It's completely lost. And so I'm going to hand over to you, Shabnam, now. And you can perhaps introduce what Zuvia is doing, and then I'll talk with Zuvia.
So Dr. Zuvia is again one of those people who've become my friend. And we all went together to Turkey, Istanbul, and I got to know about Dr. Zuvia and how she was, it was such an inspiration watching her translating this book that she presented at LLF on her smartphone. And she would, the kind of assiduousness and sincerity that was sort of, she managed to I would say, relate to us. And I used to watch her because, not that she was doing the work while I was there, but she showed us that how she uses her smartphone. And Taira was trying to convince her that she should get a good set of laptops to do it. So would you like to share your experience of how, between two of you and I as an observer, very sort of fleetingly, I should say, you managed to accomplish this really, I think it's a great feat.
Thank you. Is it working?
Press kijiye yahan se upar
I
se.
think I'm pressing. Is it working?
Yes. It is.
So, Tara and I have known each other for a while. No, it's not working?
Upar se, yahan se. Let me show you. Ji, ji.
Up the light up building. Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
So, Tyra and I had known each other for a while, and I was aware of the fact that she had translated Ismat, who was my Nana's younger sister. My Nana was Mirza Azim Beg Chaghtai. And, we had conversations, cordial, pleasant, but we hadn't gone into the depths that we have gone into now. So, like Tahira, when I was growing up, I had also seen the women of the family getting together. As a matter of fact, I still have a razai that was made by my grandmother that my children are not allowed to touch. But now my granddaughter is allowed to use it and sit on it, which was made at home. Again, recycling portion of the sari, and my aunt and my cousin sister's mother, Khabar's mother and my mother, making the chatapati ki goat and putting it all around. So there was a lot of this kind of sharing of information, conversation that took place. And it was all taking place, as Tahira said, in a Char Diwari. Now, obviously in New York, we have a different kind of a Char Diwari. And our Char Diwari has become our phone. So I had talked to Tahira about my grandfather's work and how he's being misunderstood and sort of pigeonholed primarily as a humorist. And, and then I shared some of his some of his books and his novellas that he had written with her. And, she being a professor, decided.
You're right.
Yeah, it's working now?
No, it was
Yeah.
before.
So she, being a professor, basically convinced me that I should translate, and that she helped me choose this novel, Vampire, which I translated. And it was a phenomenal experience, basically. It was oh.
This way.
And it's working?
Yeah, it's
Okay, sorry. And it was a great experience, I would translate. I cannot type, so I was doing it on my iPhone. And then, of course, we had this wonderful experience together. Shabnam, Taira, myself. I was writing it and I was putting it on Facebook because I didn't know what else to do with it. And so, this friendship has evolved. Of course, we have become closer, tighter, and it's wonderful that his work is now being rediscovered because of our friendship and because of Tahira's influence on me and because of Shabnam was present, maybe we were doing it. So this is sort of a virtual women's, what shall I say, charge event, yes, that took place.
So basically, this is a demonstration of what happens when women come together and with common purpose. And we didn't know each other that well before. I'd been working with Ismat's, I've been translating Ismat's work for a very long time, but I didn't know Zuvia, really. And so when we did get to know each other, our friendship evolved because of this common purpose that we had, which was let us translate the work of Azim Beg Chughtai, who is her grandfather. He's not my grandfather, but I felt as though he was, and that Ismat, I was invested in Ismat. And so this kind of work that we have done, and the kind of what we have achieved, what Zuvia has done, the novella was finally translated. It was published, and it was presented at launched at the LLF, and she's here. And we are still together, and we are doing this kind of round of wherever we go, wherever we are together, and we've become sort of, like limbs of the same body, of the same kind of structure. And so wherever there is Zuvia, there has to be Tahira, because we've worked together on this. So I think that we will finish with this idea that we can be very wild, we women, whether we are on this side of the Char Diwari or that side of the Char Diwari.
Thank you.
Time kitna hai? Okay, all right. इसको प्रेस कीजिए.
I just wanted to add that, it is the support that we give each other, that is the most important part. It is that you may have an idea, that you may want to do something, and you need that support that you get from another woman and a friend who can give you the honest opinion and then can guide you. Because sometimes you can't see the full picture, whereas they can, especially with Tahira, I can tell that, and she told me, she said, right away you have to go and translate another novel, which I did, which is also going to be published, and right now she has me translating 2 more. So her influence and this communication and this support has been very helpful for me, and I think also for the translation of Mirza Azim Beg Chughtai into English, which had not taken place before.
It is so fascinating, Tahira and Dr. Zuvia. I was just listening to both of you and whoever we are here. I remember speaking to one of my professors long time ago, Nilofer Gol, And there was this, at that time, it is very important to talk about the private and the public separately, home and outside separately. And, I was very hesitant and I was feeling a little shy because she's a big scholar. So I just proposed to her that why do we make such strict segregation between private and public? Maybe these distinctions are for probably men, but we women, as I experience myself, that I breeze through my kitchen like Tara's song for her ammi, cooking karelas, and the next moment I can pick up my laptop, walk out and go and give a lecture in my classroom. So I don't feel that there is any boundary between the public and private. And she took so much, she encouraged me, and that is how when I was working on my doctoral studies, she encouraged me to probe this topic further. And ever since I've been doing that. And in order to kind of reinforce that feeling, let me share with you a beautiful another excerpt from Quratul Hain Aidar's Kare Jahan Daraz Hai. Quickly I will share that with you. I wish I had an English translation also, लेकिन मेरा ख्याल है कि हम लोग आजकल तो टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी है जो सुनेंगे वो उसको ट्रांसलेट भी कर लेंगे. सो तारा आपको भी सुना रही थी ना सुबह ये बात. यहाँ पे एक फैमिली का जिक्र हो रहा है कज़न्स का कि चचा नसीर की तो तीनों बड़ी बेटियाँ अज़रा, हुमैरा, ज़हरा की शादियाँ हो चुकी थीं. इस शाम वहीदिया हॉस्टल के कॉलेज के हॉस्टल के बरामदे में जहाँ लड़कियों के पलंग एक कतार में बिछे थे, मैंने अच्छू से कहा, आपा अच्छू, इस कदर घुटे हुए माहौल में आपने इतने बरस कैसे पढ़ा? वो कहने लगी, इनकलाब आने वाला है. हसीन महजबीन सलमा रशीद रेशमी करारा सरसराती आकर दूसरे पलंग पर बैठी और उन्होंने आने वाले इनकलाब पर मज़ीद रोशनी डाली. कुछ देर के बाद वो उठकर अपने घर चली गईं और अच्छू ने तकरीर जारी रखी. वहीदिया हॉस्टल के, अब ज़रा आप गौर कीजिए, वहीदिया हॉस्टल के इस बरामदे में अच्छू ने रात भर मुझे कम्युनिज़म के नज़रियात से मुस्तफ़ीज़ किया. आपकी इंतहाई रजाई गुफ्तगू से ऐसा मालूम हो रहा था कि मदरसतुल उलूम अलीगढ़ ताशकंद यूनिवर्सिटी में तब्दील हो चुका है. यूनिवर्सिटी की मस्जिद से फजर की आज़ान हुई. मैंने पूछा, और मुस्लिम लीग का क्या होगा? कहने लगी, पाकिस्तान अवामी मुतालबा है. मैंने कहा, देखिए कम्युनिस्ट मुल्ला आज़ान दे रहा है. कहने लगी, चलो नमाज का वक्त हो गया, ये यहाँ का कानून है. So this is what I meant, from private and public, how, these women were fantastic, performers, and they were achievers in every field. All right, if you want to say something, or shall we? If
want to add that this artwork is mine. And please. I just want to add that the artwork is mine. And the reason it's up there is that I'm also very much preoccupied in my art with the idea of women coming together, girls coming together, girls and women coming together, older women, younger women coming together. And so it reflects in everything that we do, and which is why it's up there. So if there's anyone who wants to ask a question, I don't know if we have time for Q&A, but thank you very much for being such wonderful audience.
Thank you, Dr. Zubia. Thank you.
Thank you, Shabnam.